This video is about running and how to run more effectively and hopefully to prevent yourself from getting injured. So first we want to think about where should our foot strike the ground. So what part of our foot should strike the ground? There is obviously the forefoot, the midfoot and then the heel. When you're running really fast, you obviously use your forefoot, so you're on the ball of your feet because you're staying up nice and upright, you're moving really fast. When we're kind of moving at an average pace to medium pace, we should be running on the midfoot, the middle of your foot. So striking the ground there in the middle of the foot. And then if we're running really slowly, as I just was there as well, it would be the middle of your foot as well. Okay, we should never really try to land on our heel. Okay, mostly because a lot of pressure will go up through your body. It's not natural to run your heel. So if you were to jump up and down on the spot, you'll probably jump up and down on your toes or in your midfoot. You'll never jump up and down on your heels, and that's what you're doing when you land on your heel. Okay, so if you're doing that at the moment, be aware of it and try to stop, try to transition into running on your midfoot. Don't be worried that if you land on your midfoot and then if your heel strikes the ground after you land, that's okay. That will happen when you're running very slowly. But trying to stay up off that heel as best you can is better. Next one then. So when we're running, we want to try and lean forward slightly because you're going forward. So the momentum is to get you going forward. Be thinking of coming upright, falling over, and then keeping that momentum forward. Okay, so you should never be running back like this. Okay, if you're running up a hill, you will run into the hill, you'll lean into it. Likewise, when you run down a hill, you will lean down into it as well. Never lean back when running down a hill, you can hurt your back. Okay, just let the momentum go, just let your body go with an element of control, but you can actually try and relax and save energy going downhill. So think about that as well next time you're running downhill. Next thing, even though you are leaning forward slightly, it doesn't mean then that you've lost your back position. So forward does not mean like this, it means moving forward, a slight lean forward, but even though I'm leaning forward, my back is straight, so I'm not rounded. Okay, posture is really important when you're running because you're taking hundreds of thousands of steps, and every time you hit the ground, that pressure is going right up. If that impact is going up and your back is rounded, doing that countless times, that's going to probably come out in injury. Okay, so really try and keep the posture back, shoulders pull back, back straight, running forward. And that's for any pace you're running. What else? So yeah, when you're running, you want to try get your knees up and pull your heel up towards your bum. Okay, so if I was running fast, it's about pulling my heel up towards my bum. That makes my hamstrings work, and then the knees up will work through my quads. So try not to let everything sit down. So that brings me to my next point, that you want to try and keep your hips upright as you're running. That will help you stay more in the middle of your foot as well. And you're bringing your heels around, use your hamstrings, and still bring your knees up. The faster you go, the higher your knees should go. You also want your glutes on, okay? So your hips are up, you're never sitting down when you're running, okay? Resist gravity, keep those hips up, posture nice. And then we want to try and keep our glutes on, so we have to kind of tuck under slightly to get these on. With every strike I hit the ground, my bum is on. Okay? So we're not arching, we want your bum on, hips tucked under slightly, pushing you forward. Okay, next one then is your core. Okay, your core should remain solid all the time. Belly button always pointing forward, shouldn't be twisting side to side. Okay, that will start to happen as you fatigue. So if you've ever done like a really fast race, like a 400 meters, like you're able to maintain really good form at the beginning, by the end, like you start to swim, as people sometimes call it, because you've lost your core, okay, because you fatigue so much. So you have to fight to keep this steady all the time. Again, no matter what pace you're going at, your core should be nice and strong all the time. And that comes into play with your posture. So this is working in order to keep your back straight. Your arms then. So people get confused as to what to do with their arms. They should be relaxed. Your shoulders should always be relaxed down when you're running. Even when you're sprinting, you shouldn't be up here. Okay, your shoulders should be relaxed down and back, and there's a swing that comes through the shoulder socket, elbows come back and forward. Okay, not back too far that you've now had to shrug up, and not forward too far that you've lost your posture. So it's just through in that domain as you're moving the legs. So when one leg comes up, the opposite hand comes forward. That's the way it works. Okay, so it's relaxed with the arms, but also remember, the more your arms are working when you're running, the faster you'll go, the easier it will be on your legs as well. So you'll never see a sprinter not using their arms. Their arms are driving them forward as well, which in turn is, their core is working really hard as well, which in turn will help the legs. What else? Okay, so then breathing. People often get confused or they overthink their breathing as well, and then they start to panic and they can't breathe properly at all. So when you're running, usually for me when I start off, I will start off with a very relaxed breathing. So I'm going to take if I'm running slowly, I'm going to take one breath in for every 3 steps. So it will be, so in, out, in, out. Okay, so that's one breath for every 3 steps, and I'll be able to maintain that for quite a while. And depending on your fitness, if you're not fit at all, you won't be able to maintain that for long because your heart rate will go and you'll need to take in more breaths. So then, when you'll feel it, you'll get to a stage when you're like, I'm starting to struggle to breathe now, then you'll reduce it. So for every 2 steps, you'll take in 1 breath. So it'll be in, out. Okay, and that's the way most people will breathe for most long runs when they're pushing it hard. Then you'll get to a point you're like, this is actually really hard to maintain now. You might have to take 1 breath in and then 1 breath out, but that would be mostly for running very fast and moving very fast. I'd be like, so that's each step, take the breath in and out. So, and then if you're doing like a 100-meter sprint, what you'll find is when people start off, they're almost holding their breath before they go. When they start off, they're keeping real tense, so they've actually braced so hard that they're not really breathing, but they'll exhale. So you'll often see them being like, the gun is like, go, and they'll be like, it's like almost like an explosion of the oxygen that they've been holding tight as they're bracing. But yeah, so the reason why you have to change your breathing during it is because your heart rate is going higher and higher. You're starting to get a little bit more uncomfortable, and that's when you have to change it. So that's okay. You will have to change your breathing throughout your runs if you're not doing long distance. What else? I think that's about it. Any questions? Just give us a shout, and yeah, get going. Posture key. Good luck.